Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Inna alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. Amma ba'd, rabbi shahli sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the universe, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Allah, you alone we turn for help. Allah, you alone we worship you, and you alone we turn for help. Guide us to the straight path of those people upon whom you have bestowed your favors, and not the path of those people who have earned your anger or those who have gone astray after the truth has come to them. Amin thumma amin. Again, my brothers and sisters, please watch this video till the end. This is my first request to you, humble request. And this is about our brother Hamza and Apostate Prophet Ridvan. They were talking about the existence of the Kaaba and the historical evidence of Kaaba, and whether it is related to Abrahamic religion or not, or it is something which. So let's see what he says. And I just want to say from my perspective that do we really need this kind of discussion with someone who doesn't even believe in any of that?
A few days ago, I had a very respectful discussion with these very friendly Muslim apologists.
Wait!
Sarcasm.
Wait, stop!
Sarcasm from our Apostate Prophet. He is referring his reaction as very friendly.
Leave the bloody Bible! Leave the Bible alone! You don't believe in it!
In which I made the outrageous claim that Islam treats the Kaaba as this center of worship for the Almighty Allah and for Abrahamic religion, but in reality, the Kaaba is entirely disconnected from Abrahamic religion, from history, and that it is merely an Islamic adoption from pagan times. To build my argument, I used the premise that the Quran says that the Kaaba was the first house built for Allah, and that Allah tasked Abraham with proclaiming this message of the Kaaba and of pilgrimage to the Kaaba to humanity. The point here is that if that was indeed true, if Allah in the past, in Abraham's time, did indeed give Abraham this big task, then this would of course mean that we would find the Kaaba somewhere in Abrahamic religion. This would mean we could...
Who says that? Who says that we have to find something which is mentioned in the Quran that we have to find in the historical evidence or something with Abrahamic religion? Who says that?
Verify historically that the Kaaba was indeed a place of pilgrimage and worship from around the world. When I made the point that according to the Quran, Abraham was supposed to deliver this message to mankind, our dear friend Hamza made the objection and asked me where I get that from.
I don't understand. The Quran gives Abraham and Ishmael the mission to spread this to the entire world so that everyone comes. This is the major place. This is the mother of cities.
Where does it do that?
And yet it has no history within Christianity.
Where does Allah say about Abraham and Ishmael were sent to the whole world? Where are you getting that from?
I didn't say they were sent to the whole world. I said that.
It's exactly what you just said.
Did I say they were sent to the world? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The issue was...
What did you mean then?
They were told to tell the people from around the world to come to the Kaaba.
You said it again. You just did it again.
Isn't that
tell
what the Quran
people
says?
From around the world.
Sorry,
how is Ishmael and I... No, 1 second.
If I need to make a correction...
I'm going to tell the people around the world.
I found it very strange that Hamza actually made this objection and tried to argue that this is something that I just came up with. This is general knowledge. Let me show you exactly where I got this outrageous claim from. I take this, as I said, from the Quran itself. Apparently, I'm more informed about the Quran. In Quran chapter 22, verse 26, it says, "And mention, when we designated for Abraham the site of the house, saying, do not associate anything with me, and purify my house for those who perform tawaf, circumambulation, and those who stand in prayer, and those who bow and prostrate." And in 27, it then says, "And proclaim to humanity the pilgrimage, the Hajj," or proclaim to the people, or proclaim to mankind. The word here is nas, translated as mankind, used throughout the Quran again and again for the same purpose. "And proclaim to mankind the pilgrimage. They will come to you on foot and on every lean camel. They will come from every distant pass." It even absurdly goes on and says that they may witness benefit for themselves and mention the name of Allah on known days over what He has provided for them of animals. So eat of them and feed the miserable and poor. Then let them end their untidiness and fulfill their vows and perform circumambulation around the ancient house. So according to the Quranic narrative, this was started by Abraham. Abraham proclaimed it to mankind, and people came from
See, this is the problem with those people who do not actually understand the Quranic verses. Now, he is saying that Allah is saying that Abraham was told to proclaim. But no, when any Arab who is going to read, even if he's a non-Muslim Arab, if he is going to read these verses, Allah is saying to Muhammad, see, right from the verse 27, 28, 29, Allah is telling Muhammad to say this. So the proclaim to the mankind is not Abraham, because Abraham was not the, a messenger sent to the whole mankind. It is Prophet Muhammad who was, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ كَافَّةً لِلنَّاسِ, that we have sent to you as a messenger to the whole mankind. So it is, the Arabic sentence is suited to Muhammad sallallahu, because it starts from the same verses which he is reading. Again, Brother Hamza was not wrong. He is wrong. Brother Hamza may not remember the ayah, but that's the reason Brother Hamza was asking him, give the proof from the Quran. And he brought the proof from the Quran, and he made the mistake himself. And this is the proclaim of a person who is performing the Hajj, and that is what Muhammad ﷺ is doing, not Abraham. Abraham was not proclaiming people when they are performing the Hajj. The whole verse speaks about the people who are coming there, and to them Rasulullah ﷺ is told, Allah is saying to Prophet Muhammad, you tell them, proclaim to the Hajj. And the word is there, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ. أَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ where? In the place where they were performing the Hajj. To whom? The pilgrims. He said that. So, and who has to say that? This Quran was not revealed to Ibrahim. This Quran is being revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. So the revelation says to Muhammad sallallahu. So again he made the mistake, and now he is very proud of himself that he is quoting correct understanding. He is well informed of the Quran, and he is quoting a verse which Hamza didn't know.
Distant places, distant passes, and did those rituals which exist today within Islam. And yet, we don't see anything about the Kaaba in history. We don't have any reference to such a place in Abrahamic religion and tradition.
Which history is he talking? If you talk that, if you today, anybody who has to know something about the history, they will go either Wikipedia or Britannica, Encyclopedia of Britannica, or the World Book. All those books they bring all those risks. They are the authorities in history. And there are so many authorities in biblical history. They also talk about it. But this man, I don't know which history is he talking. And it shows that if he doesn't find in the limited history of his GCE, when people, they go to the primary school or secondary school or high school, when they study the history books, maybe he's referring to those history books, but I can surely say that even those history books speak about the existence of the Kaaba.
Nothing.
No, because you're acting like Islam was invented in the 7th century.
Yes, Hamza, I do act like Islam was invented in the 7th century. That's the entire point. That's why I'm making these arguments. Because as I view it,
my brother Ridvan, if I'll ask you to give me the history of your grandfather, okay, if I say, okay, give me the history of your father, you will bring something. If I say, bring the history of your grandfather, you might bring something. But if I ask you to bring me the exact, perfect, correct history of your grandfather, you will not know. And how can you talk about someone who was there in 1443 Hijri? He was there, which is like, according to us, nearly 14 and a half centuries ago. That thing was existing, and you are talking about that. You can't even give me the history of your grandfather.
Muhammad was born into a pagan culture, a polytheistic Arab culture. Muhammad took monotheistic Abraham.
Okay, where does it say? Now, where did he find this information from? From our sources. If he thinks that whatever he's saying he found somewhere in the history, then he's contradicting himself. He is like paradox to himself, because he's saying that history doesn't have it. So again, to support his own argument, he is quoting from our records, and he's saying that Muhammad was born in the pagans, with the pagans, and this and that, and he brought the information from the Bible and Abrahamic religion and all that. So he is talking about that, Jews and the Christians. But where did he get these information? If it is not there in the history, and it's a 7th century new religion, so where did he get this information? He gets from our sources. So supporting his own argument from our sources, all those information which he wants to believe in, and the things which our sources are saying something which he doesn't want to believe, he says no, it's not there in the history. So now there he brings history there, but this information which he is proclaiming now is our sources. And he believes in that because that's what he wants to say. And when he doesn't want to say about the Kaaba, so he's saying, no, this history information I won't believe, even though if it is in the Quran or in the Islamic sources, I don't believe it because it's not there in my history.
Abrahamic elements from Jews and Christians, and took the one central center of worship which he knows, which is the Kaaba, and made a mixed religion called Islam out of that, and messed it up big time, as you can see.
Okay, so first of all, let me tell you openly, whether he likes it or he doesn't like. First of all, I know from all his explanation that he says that he became, he left Islam and he was reading Quran, he was reading very religious and all that. I can certainly say he was reading Islam on the surface. He didn't know anything. And as far as my argument always with him is concerned, that he doesn't know Arabic at all. So, but one of his videos, which I've already wanted to discuss with him, he had a discussion with Khalilullah, a new Muslim who came to Islam. I want to read these verses as well, please. So what happened is that I told him to, because of the way they were talking, I liked it, and I said I want to discuss about Allah, Islam, Quran, Muhammad with you. So he just sent me an email, and then he wanted the details about my qualification and my madhab and this and that. I have sent it to him, and he asked me that he will bring me on his platform to discuss with him. So I'm still waiting for his confirmation yet, alhamdulillah. But this is my open invitation to him and to David Wood if he has got any issues with our Quran. So let me tell you, first of all, Bible is not our criteria to judge right or wrong of the Quran. We as Muslims, even the ordinary Muslim, the Muslim who might be drunk, maybe not praying, maybe not fasting, maybe could be anybody, but if you say to that Muslim, what is Quran? He will say Quran is the book of Allah. For us, alhamdulillah, as people who do research, do study directly from Quran and Hadith and Arabic sources, they can confirm, alhamdulillah, that there is no doubt the Quran is not the word of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is not the word of Sahaba, is not the word of Uthman, is not the word of these people, J. Smith and David Wood, who can play around with it, and the one who claims like Ridvan, that it is a corrupted version. So it's nothing like that. It's a word of God, which we are proud to say that. And we have no doubt, like the Christians, they say Bible is not the word of God. So alhamdulillah, whatever the way they believe it is up to them. But certainly when Quran confirms something, when Quran says that this is the Kaaba, it is the Kaaba. Quran is not asking us to go for the historical evidence or historical research. Quran says that this is, sun, this is sun. Quran says this is moon, this is moon. Even if the Quran says the sun has got no light, we will believe it. We will believe it without even the whole world get together and they will come up when they say, no, sun has got light and is bright and is shining, and the moon steals and robes the light from the sun. We will not even give any importance to the science, because we don't need science to prove what Quran says, because Quran is not some saying of someone else. It is the Quran, which is objectively the word of God, and whatever Quran says objectively, it is proven. But if you want to say something otherwise, then you have to disprove existence of Allah properly. You have to disprove the Quran, which is not the word of Allah, but which you can't do that because you don't know Arabic. So you only through Arabic sources you can know. So, coming back to these verses, I'll go quickly to those. Please, can you open Surah Hajj? Go back to the previous verses. Momo. Look what it says. And mention. This is very clear. Allah is saying to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ridwan, you have to school yourself properly to understand the language of Arabic. It is not to Abraham. It is not to Ibrahim alayhi salam. It is not said to Ibrahim. Fatima, jawab de dosko. It is not said to Ibrahim alayhi salam to say this, because this is the situation. This verse was revealed when Prophet ﷺ was performing the Hajj with the pilgrims, and it is said to him, and this revelation is given to him. So he is the one who is addressed by Allah, O Muhammad, and it continues, O Muhammad, and mention when we designated for Abraham, which is clear. Look, Abraham, if it was to Abraham, then Allah would not use the word Abraham again to say that. So we know that these verses are addressed to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Allah is saying, and mention when Muhammad, when we designated for Abraham the site of the house, do not associate anything with me, and purify my house for those who perform tawaf, and those who stand in prayer, and those who bow and prostrate. And proclaim to mankind the Hajj. Now this is to Muhammad again, that this was the house that was built by Abraham, and this is the reason that it should be performed, tawaf should be performed, rituals of Hajj should be performed, etc., etc., etc. And then you proclaim to mankind, O Muhammad, to the Hajj. Okay, to the Hajj. This is again to the pilgrims. So again, even if he takes to Abraham, it doesn't go to the whole world. It's only people who have come to perform the Hajj. And we know that the people didn't come to perform the Hajj when Ibrahim was saying this. This is the time when Prophet was performing the Hajj, so Allah has told him to say this. They will come to you on foot. Yes, the pilgrim will come to you on foot, and on every lean camel. They will come from every distant pass. Yes, alhamdulillah. So this is very clear. Go to the next verse. Yes, this one. And verse 28, that they may witness benefits for themselves and mention the name of Allah on known days over what He has provided for them of animals. So eat of them and feed the miserable and poor people. So this is again rituals of Hajj told by Prophet Muhammad to the pilgrims who are fulfilling the rituals of Hajj, to them. And he's the one who is saying is Muhammad, and he has to proclaim to the mankind, and that is not contradiction. Okay, so his education is weak. Your education, Brother Ridwan, you have to school yourself properly before you read the passages of the Quran. It's very sad, I know. And this is one of the reasons you left Islam, because you don't know Islam. You don't know Quran. So you said you read Quran so many times, and you were asking Khalilullah that did he read the Quran? I can say myself, alhamdulillah, Khalilullah is a new Muslim, he didn't read the Quran, but you said you read so many times, and then your father forced you to read again and again. I think your father's knowledge of understanding or reading of the Quran is generally like all other Muslims. You read, you get reward. You understand or you don't understand, that's fine. So unfortunately, you had gone little bit ahead of your father and you left Islam because it didn't go into your understanding. Now, verse 29, again, then let them, whom? The pilgrims, and let them end their untidiness and fulfill their vows and perform tawaf around the ancient house. Again, to them, those people who have come. Even this verse cannot say that Rasulullah went to all internationally all over the world. Then neither Abraham has gone. So it's very clear that this address was from the first verse 26 to verse 29. The whole passage is revealed to Muhammad sallallahu, and Allah is dictating him what he has to say to the people. And in between that, he has to bring the history of Ibrahim ﷺ because he was the one who constructed the Kaaba. Okay, so with regards to this evidence of his. Now, another evidence to my understanding. First of all, see, Brother Ridwan, you do not have the proper knowledge of our Islam. You do not have the understanding of Quran. But generally speaking, because I don't support Bible to support my argument, but generally speaking, Abrahamic religion speaks about a very simple relationship between Prophet Ibrahim, Prophet Ismail, and Prophet Muhammad. So that is more than, easy for me to school you. This is more than easy for me to school you to say that, my brother Ridwan, Abrahamic religion, the Jews believe that Abraham had two sons, Ismail and Ishaq. So Ismail, you have to do the homework now. Where did Ibrahim locate or settled, Ismail and his mother Hajar? Where did they stay? What was the location? There, when you know that location, then you will know the history of Kaaba. That is that simple for me to explain to you. And Christians and the Jews, they don't deny that Muslims were praying facing the Baitul Maqdis, which is Jerusalem, the masjid in the, Masjid al-Aqsa. That is known. And no Jew has ever said. Instead, Jews were, saying, making mockery of Muslims, look, you people are facing our Qibla. So that itself is showing that the Kaaba was known to the people. Even the Jews, they knew about the Kaaba. And the Christians also were aware of that. And then after 17 months, Muslims facing the Jerusalem and Masjid al-Aqsa, after 17 months facing their praying, Allah changed the direction of the Kaaba, the Muslims, from Masjid al-Aqsa to Kaaba. And then the Jews again were frustrated and they said, this man Muhammad has, come with the revelation not to agree with us but to disagree with every matters of us. And this is what he has done now. Before they were facing our Qibla, now even he didn't agree with the Qibla, so he has even disagreed with that Qibla and he has changed. So that for you to, for me to school you in that. So this is again, any Jew, any learned Jew, any learned Christian, if you ask them now, not from the Bible, generally about the Kaaba, they will, I think, school you the history of that. Second thing, you are saying that Muhammad ﷺ was, he was born with in the culture of the pagans. Yes, of course, because that Kaaba was later on, people started worshipping other idols, and that's the teaching of all the prophets and messengers in the past. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنْ يَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا الطَّاغُوتَ. Allah has said in Surah An-Nahl that we have sent, Surah Hijr, that we have sent these people to every nation has been, every messenger has been sent to every nation, and the message was that don't worship the idols and worship one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this was clear, and Makkah was afterwards, after the death of Ismail salam and after the death of Ibrahim salam, people, that house which was built by Ibrahim salam, that was changed into the worship of demons and devils and idols. So that is what it is referring. And where did you get that information? Bring the history. You bring the history where he says that Prophet was born in that place, in the pagan, within the pagans. If you go, get me any history that proves, and if that proves in the history, then rest of the things of your argument also will be proven. But no, you cannot, because you don't have history knowledge. Not even, I think you have not even studied history in your primary, secondary, or I don't know where you studied. You may be born in Turkey and studied in Germany. So you might be studying the history, but you might be studying history of the Turkey, or you might be studying the history of the Germany, but not the history of Islam. So you don't know. But if you are saying, according to what you said in the video, that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was born in the pagan culture and people were worshipping idols, and that's why the Kaaba was like this and this and that. Okay, that's fine. Where did you get this information from? Not from the history, because you don't know the history. History doesn't speak about Kaaba. So that means it is something from our sources. So you believe in this part of the history of our source, and the history of the Kaaba you don't believe. So you are paradox by yourself. So with this, alhamdulillah, second thing, now since then, Muslims were praying 5 daily prayers to the Kaaba. Nobody has objected it. If it wasn't not there, you mean to say that people before the Kaaba, nobody were praying, and if they were praying, where were they were praying? So this is very clear that the Kaaba was there. People were praying. Some were praying to the Kaaba, some were praying to the idols, some were praying to Allah. But Kaaba was there, and then when Prophet introduced Islam, people regularly were praying in Mecca, 5 daily prayers. And also this is this is historically known to everyone. You are talking about history doesn't know. It is known to the people that every year, once in a year, in the month of Hajj, which is the last month of the Islamic calendar out of 12 months, the people start their rituals from 8th of that particular month of Hajj till 13th and 14th of that month. The people perform the rituals of Hajj, and that's every year. And this is what it is described in verse 26 of Surah Hajj, 27, 28, 29. So my brother, you should do more schooling of yourself when you want to talk about it. And Brother Hamza was not in that mood to school you, but he showed that you talk something which you have no knowledge of it. You may bring the evidence and proof, but you yourself do not understand those proofs. Okay, with this I want to conclude that the Kaaba is not in need of history. Kaaba is not in need of any Bible to prove it. Kaaba is informed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, and as we said that earlier, I have said that it is objectively what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said. It is clear. If you want to disprove it, not disagreeing, you don't believe, that's fine. Disagreeing, you agree, I agree, that's your opinion, my opinion. But if you say that this is something wrong, then you have to prove it that it is wrong. Disprove it, and inshallah, for that reason, I openly give you an invitation. Let's talk with all your evidence, and on air I'm telling you now that I don't need any evidence. I will speak only from your evidences that you're going to bring, and inshallah we'll see, and we'll leave the matter, for people to decide. And inshallah, my invitation for you to correct yourself before you die, and then you will be regretting it will become too late for you. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, with peace.